Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever just stared at a price tag and thought, why? I mean, really, why? Why is that coffee $3.50? Or why does a flight ticket suddenly cost a fortune on a Friday? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and uncover the secrets behind the price tag.
Yeah, that's really the big question, isn't it? It seems so simple on the surface, but the answer is this amazing story. It's about what you and I want, what businesses can actually produce, and this powerful invisible force that brings it all into balance. So, let's dive in.
All right, first things first. That price you see, it is not a random number somebody just pulled out of a hat. Nope, it's actually the result of this constant tug of war. You've got us on one side, the buyers, right? We want the absolute best stuff for the lowest possible price. And then on the other side, you've got the sellers, who are trying to get the highest price they can to make a profit. And that number on the price tag, that's the truce. It's the exact point where these two sides meet in the middle. So to really get a handle on this whole tug of war, let's start with our side of the rope. Let's get inside the buyer's head. I mean, how do you decide what's actually worth your hard-earned cash? It really all boils down to one simple but super powerful idea. And that idea has a name, at least according to economists. They call it utility. Sounds fancy, but all it really means is satisfaction. You know, the happiness you get from something, that amazing feeling of eating a fresh banana, or the pure convenience of getting food delivered to your door. That's utility. And our goal as buyers is pretty simple. Get as much of that utility as we possibly can. But let's be real, we can't have everything, right? I wish. Our choices are always limited by how much money we have. And this limit? Well, economists have a name for that too. It's called a budget line. Just think of it like a map that shows all the different combinations of stuff you can actually afford.
Okay, let's make this super concrete. Let's say you've got 20 bucks, and you see that both bananas and mangoes are $5 each. Well, you could buy 4 bananas and 0 mangoes, or maybe 2 of each, or, any other mix that adds up to that $20 limit. All of those different possibilities, that's your budget line. Anything on that line is fair game. Anything beyond it, well, that's just a dream for now.
So you're standing there with all these options on your budget line. What do? Which one do you pick? Well, you're naturally going to go for the combination that gives you the most happiness, right? The one with the highest utility. And that perfect spot, that's what we call your optimal choice. It's literally the best you can possibly do with the money you have.
All right, so that explains how one person, you or me, decides what to buy. But here's the thing. Prices aren't set just for one person. So how do we go from your personal choice and my personal choice and the choices of millions of other people to a massive market-wide trend? How do we scale up from a single shopping cart to this huge concept we call demand?
I mean, just think about it for a second. If bananas were suddenly way cheaper, you'd probably buy more of them, wouldn't you? And if they got super expensive, you'd buy fewer. That relationship between the price of something and how much of it you're willing to buy, that creates your own personal demand curve. It's a pretty simple rule. Usually, when the price goes down, the amount we want goes up.
So how do we get the market demand? It's actually pretty straightforward. We just add up what everyone wants. So if bananas are $5 and you want 2 and I want 1, well, the total market demand at that price is 3 bananas. You do that for every single possible price, and bam, you've just drawn the entire market demand curve. It's like the collective voice of every single shopper yelling at once. And there you have it. That's the buyer's side of the whole story. We want more stuff when it's cheap. But don't forget that tug of war. The sellers are on the other end of the rope, and they have the exact opposite idea. For them, a higher price is a good thing. It's an incentive to make and sell more. A lower price? Not so much. That means less profit, so they supply less. And that relationship, that's the supply curve. To find out the final price, we've got to see where these two curves cross. Okay. This is it. This is where that tug of war finally comes to an end. We've got buyers pulling one way, wanting low prices. We've got sellers pulling the other way, wanting high prices. So, where does the rope finally stop? It's time to find the market's sweet spot. And that sweet spot has a name: equilibrium. It's this perfect state of balance. It's the one point where the number of things sellers want to sell is exactly the same as the number of things buyers want to buy. When that happens, the market clears. It's perfect. No one goes home disappointed. You don't have buyers who can't find what they want, and you don't have sellers stuck with stuff they can't sell. And the price that makes all this magic happen? That's the equilibrium price.
It is the one single price where supply and demand meet. This is the price that just emerges naturally from that big tug of war. It's the truce. It's the handshake. It's the final deal that makes everyone just happy enough. But the real world isn't always so perfect. The market isn't always in the state of perfect balance. So what happens if the price is, just for a little while, too high or too low? Let's take a look at what happens when things get a little out of whack.
Well, it can really go one of two ways. If the price is set too low, you get what's called excess demand, or in plain English, a shortage. The perfect example is sold-out concert tickets. The price is low, so everybody wants one, but there just aren't enough to go around. On the flip side, if the price is too high, you get excess supply, a surplus. Think about end-of-season clearance sales. That's just stores trying to get rid of all the extra stuff that nobody was willing to buy at the original, higher price.
So you can see how the market naturally tries to push itself back towards that equilibrium price. But here's the catch. That sweet spot, it's not set in stone. It's actually moving all the time because, well, the world is always changing.
Let me give you a classic example. Imagine everybody suddenly gets a raise. Awesome, right? Well, with more money in our pockets, we're all willing to buy more stuff, even if the prices don't change. This literally shifts the entire demand curve over to the right. And for the market to find its new balance, what has to happen? Both the price and the total amount of stuff sold have to go up. Okay, now let's flip it around and look at the supply side. What if something a farmer needs, like fertilizer for our bananas, suddenly gets way more expensive? Now, it costs them more to grow every single banana. So what do? They're going to supply fewer bananas at every price point, which shifts the whole supply curve to the left. And the result of that, you guessed it, a new, higher price for bananas, but fewer of them being sold overall. Okay, so let's recap. We've seen how our own individual choices add up to create huge market trends. We've seen how buyers and sellers meet in the middle, and how that meeting point is constantly on the move. So now, let's zoom all the way out and put a name to this beautiful, almost magical force that's running the whole show. It's what Adam Smith famously called the invisible hand. It's not a literal hand, of course. It's a metaphor for all these natural forces we've been talking about. There's no person, no committee in a boardroom making these decisions. It's just the market's own amazing self-correcting system. When there's a shortage, the invisible hand nudges prices up, which tells sellers, hey, make more of this. And when there's a surplus, it nudges prices down, telling buyers, come and get it. It's always guiding the market back to that sweet spot, back to equilibrium. And honestly, this might be the biggest takeaway of all. There is no one in charge. There's no central planner in an office somewhere deciding what a banana should cost. The price just appears. It emerges out of millions of separate, uncoordinated decisions made by people like you and me, all just acting in our own self-interest. Every single one of us, just trying to get the most satisfaction or the biggest profit, becomes a tiny part of this incredibly complex, but also incredibly efficient system. So from now on, when you see a price tag, you'll see more than just a number. You'll see the story behind it. You'll see that constant push and pull between buyers and sellers, all of it gently guided by that invisible hand. You now have the secret decoder ring for the economic world around you. So the only question left is, what puzzle are you going to solve next?